Friends, welcome back. In this video, we'll be discussing some more critical listening questions that are generally asked in CAT and other management entrance examinations. The questions are already given to you in the PDF format. The link to the PDF is available in the description. So I would suggest that you please attempt the exercise on your own first and then watch the video for maximum learning and for understanding the various points that we will discuss in identifying the correct answers. So the first question is about it's a tricky question. It is talking about a research conducted, and as per the research, it says that the students, college students who play contact sports like hockey, football, etc., where there is intimate physical contact needed. So, students who play such sports, they are driven to aggression. They are more aggressive than the students who are playing non-contact sports like swimming. So, the conclusion made by the researchers is that this by playing these contact sports, it encourages the students to become more aggressive. That is the conclusion. And the author's conclusion is that this conclusion by the researchers is untenable, means unacceptable. So why the author says that it need not be true, the researcher's conclusion. The author says that these people who are showing aggression after playing football, hockey, etc., they might have been aggressive even before playing these games, or these students who are supposed to have shown aggression after playing the contact sports, they might have been aggressive even from the beginning, without even before playing the contact sports. So just because they are showing aggression after playing the sports, you cannot say that they are this it is because of the sport they are playing that they have become aggressive. This is the author's conclusion. So we have two conclusion. One is the psychologist or the researcher's conclusion, and second is author's conclusion. And our question is regarding the conclusion by the psychological researchers, or in other words, our conclusion is regarding our conclusion is that the sports or the contact sports like football, hockey, etc. They encourage and teach participants to become more aggressive. This is the conclusion. So we have to find a statement that strengthens the conclusion made by the psychological researchers. Option A, the football and hockey players become more hostile and aggressive during the season and remained during the off season. So means what? The conclusion is that sports encourage and teach participants to be hostile. So the football and hockey players became more hostile. So the word is more important. So they were not very hostile previously, but they became more hostile after playing these games, and during the season, means during the time when they were playing, and remained so during the off season also, means they became aggressive after playing the sports, and they remained so even when they stopped playing during the off season, they were aggressive, means the sports is encouraging people to become aggressive. That is why they became aggressive, and they are teaching participants to become aggressive, means once something is taught, remain, or that teaching is imbibed in your character. So that is why they remain aggressive even during the off season. Even when they stop playing the game, they are aggressive. So this is a good statement. Whereas there was no increase in aggressive among the swimmers. So people who are playing non-contact sports, there was no aggressiveness. So this is a very good option which supports the conclusion made by the researchers, because it says that the players became hostile after playing the sports and they remained hostile during the off season, means they were taught and that teaching is there in their character. So that is why they remain hostile even during the off season. So good answer. Keep it in your mind. Option B, the football and hockey players, but not the swimmers, were aware of that at the start of the experiment they were being tested for aggressiveness. So it is talking about whether the players were aware about this test being conducted. So even if the players were aware about the test being conducted, the football and hockey players, what would be the likely outcome? There are three likely outcomes. Either they reduce their aggression, or they try to increase their aggression, or they do not do anything, they remain as they are. So these are the three possible outcomes. And if they are showing more aggression than they actually have, what is the meaning? It is supporting the researchers' conclusion, because the players know that they are being tested for aggression, and they know that they are expected to be more aggressive since they are football and hockey players. They are expected to be more aggressive, so they will show more aggression than they actually have. So this one will support the first possibility will support the researcher's conclusion. But what about the second possibility? Second possibility says that they will try to tone down their aggression or reduce their aggression. So if they try to tone down their aggression, it means that they were either naturally aggressive before playing the game, or they became aggressive after playing the game. So two possibilities are there. We do not know which possibility might be there. So that the second possibility, we cannot say whether it will support or not support the conclusion. And the third possibility is that the players or the football and hockey players will not will not neither try to reduce their aggression or try to increase their aggression. Means they will continue with their normal character. So in such cases, again, we do not know whether it will support or weaken the conclusion. So in two out of three possibilities that it can arise, we do not know what will be the outcome, whether it will be supporting the conclusion. So that is why only in one case we can say it will support the conclusion by the researchers. So that is why we will not be taking this as an answer. Option C, the football and hockey players were more hostile and aggressive during the season, but their aggression levels came down during the off season. So it says that they were more hostile, means they became more hostile, means sport is encouraging the hostility or aggression, but their aggression levels came down during the off season. Means what? It was not taught to the participants, or the people or the players did not take it as a part of their character, or did not include it within their character. Only when they were playing the sport they became aggressive. After playing the sport they were not aggressive. Means what? Means it might be encouraging the people to become aggressive, but that is not taught to them in a permanent manner. So this is why this cannot be taken as a good statement that will support the conclusion. It only partially supports the conclusion because it is encouraging the players to be hostile, but that is not being taught to the participants. So it is encouraging the participants to be hostile during the season, but their aggression is coming down during the off season, means it is not becoming a part of their character. So that is why this is not a better answer than A, because A says that it is they becoming more aggressive and remaining more aggressive, means it becomes a part of their character. So that is why A is still the better answer. C cannot be the answer. D, the research studies were designed to include no college athletes who participated in both contact and non-contact sports. Means there were no athletes in this study who participated in both contact and non-contact sports. If there were some students who participated in both football, hockey, as well as swimming, then it would have been the best method to understand whether the sports is having any impact on their aggression or not. Since such students were not included, what is the meaning? We cannot say anything about the hostility and connection between hostility and aggression because of this. So this is again trying not able to support the conclusion. In fact, it is weakening the conclusion, because this would have been the best method to either prove or disprove the conclusion. Since this is not done, we cannot use this as a statement to support the conclusion. And option E, throughout the United States, more incidents of fan violence occur in baseball games than in hockey or football games. So it is talking about another contact sports, baseball, and it is talking about the fact that more fan violence is occurring. And so we are talking about fan violence here. Fan means the spectators. Our question is only about the players who are participating in the sports, not about the fans. So whether the baseball games are having more fan violence or hockey or football games, it is not going to affect our conclusion, because the conclusion is regarding the participants, not the fans. That is why is again wrong. So very clearly, option A is that answer which will support the conclusion made by the researchers. So remember, our focus should be on the conclusion by the researchers, not the conclusion by the author. So that is why that is the key element in answering this question. All right, go to the next one. The next one talks about some conditions. What are the conditions? If the stores are having a reduction in sales during this holiday season, then There are two possibilities. So reduction in sales means two possibilities. What are the possibilities? One is that people have stopped giving expensive gifts. So there is a change in the attitude of the people. People have stopped giving expensive gift to other people. So that as a result of which the sales have come down. So this is about attitude. And another possibility is that there is no change in the attitude, but the prices have become too costly, or the gifts have become too costly. People are not able to afford it, as a result of which they are not giving it. So this is about cost. So there are two possibilities. If the sales is coming down, it could either be because people have changed their attitude, or it could be because things have become more costly. And if people have changed their attitude, it is again a good sign. So the passage is it is a welcome thing, so it is good. And if a cost has become more, or people are not able to afford it, it means that salaries have not been increased consistently with prices. So salaries are not increasing. So this is the flowchart of this particular question. Now, our question is, if salaries have increased with the rising prices, which of the following must be true? So, if this condition is not there, means the condition is that if sales is coming down, then either people have changed their attitude, or the cost has become too much. If cost has become too much, that means salaries have not increased along with the prices. If salaries have increased with the prices, means salaries are keeping pace with the prices, which is the immediate thing that, or which is the thing that is definitely true. So what is definitely true? If salaries have increased, then what is definitely true? What is just before it? So costs have not increased, or costs have not become affordable. So if salaries have kept pace with the prices, it means that the cost of the articles have not become out of reach. The cost is within the reach of the people. So this is the statement that is definitely true. Now we will think about the options. Option A, attitude towards extravagant gift giving have changed. Can we talk about this? We only know that this is not. So can you say that the attitudes has not changed? No, attitude can still change. So it only means that people are able to afford it, but still, if the attitudes have changed, the sales will definitely come down. So that is why this option cannot be considered a good option, because you cannot directly jump from here to here, because the question is, if revenues have come down. So that is what we have to. If retail stores experience a revenue decrease, the passage is not saying that the retail stores are experiencing a decrease in revenue. It is not giving that as a definite fact. If the statement had been retail stores are experiencing a decrease in revenue, then we can say that a retail store. We know that retail stores are definitely reducing revenue, but people they are having enough money in their pockets. Then we can say that people having enough money in their pockets, still sales is coming down, means the attitude has changed. So in such case, A should have been correct, but this is given as a condition. So since it is a condition, you can only say that people have money, or means what? The articles are affordable to the people, and if the sales have come down, then we can say attitude has changed. But we don't know whether the sales has come down or not. It is only a condition here, because of which this statement cannot be true only because of this option. So that is why this will not be correct. I hope you got it. Option B, retail stores will not experiencing a decrease in retail sales during the holiday season. Means just because people are able to afford it, retail sales will not experience. We cannot say that. What if the attitude is changed? Then again, the retail sales will definitely increase, have a decrease. So that is why this also is wrong. Option C, price in retail stores have not risen beyond the level that most people can afford. Yes, this is something that we can definitely say to be true, because we know that the sales salary is increasing along with the prices. So the prices are not beyond the level that people can afford. So prices are within the level that people can afford. So this is definitely true. So this is a good option. This could be our answer. Option D, attitude towards extravagant gift giving have not changed, and stores will not experience a decrease in revenue. Means just because people have money, It says that attitude has not changed and people definitely stores will have revenue. And can we say that no, these are two different conditions? So just because this condition is not true, we cannot say that this condition will not be true. Option E, either attitude towards extravagant gift giving have changed or prices have risen. So either this or this. But we know that from this that this is not true, because since this is not true, this also is not true. So you cannot have an either or attitude, either or condition, because this we know that this is definitely not. So that is why this statement will not be a good statement. So the very clear statement is option C. That is what we can definitely say, or what is definitely true is prices have not gone beyond the affordability level of the people, because salaries have increased in consistence with prices. So prices are affordable to the people. So this is the only statement we can definitely say stay to be true. So option C will be your answer. All right, this question is talking about the structure of some components and how when these components are arranged or combined together to form a big thing, that structure will remain the same. That is the meaning. The passage says that whenever some particles which have a particular structure or character, when they are combined together to form a large item, then the large item or big item will also have the same structure or character of the components. So this is the logic, and this is a flawed logic. So the because the smallest particle is a simple in structure, so universe should also be simple in structure, because universe is made up of smallest particles. Smallest particles are simple in structure, and since it is the universe is made up of, so this is the important thing, because the smallest particles in the universe means whatever is made, universe is made up of smallest particles, and smallest particles have a simple structure, so universe also should have a simple structure. So this is the meaning. So what this is a flawed logic. So the passage of the question says that this is a flawed reasoning, and which of these statements are the similar flawed reasoning? Flawed means mistaken logic. So which of these options has the same kind of mistaken logic? So each part of this car is nearly perfectly engineered, therefore the car is nearly perfect from an engineering point of view. So the components of a car are very perfectly engineered. So the car which is made up of all these components also should be perfectly engineered. So it has the same flaw like this. So because the smallest particle, the particles are elegant or simple, so universe is simple. So the same thing, the parts are perfect, and so the car should be perfect. The same flaw is there. So this is not our answer. You need to find an option which is not having that flaw. Each part of this desk is made of metal, so therefore this desk is made of metal. So here we are talking about the not about the character or the structure. It is talking about the material. So here something is made up of one material. So the entire whole thing should be made up of that material. So this is not having that flaw, because we are not talking about the material. We are talking about the character or the composition or the structure of a particular component of a article. So here in this case, we are not talking about the character, we are talking about the material out of which it is made. So any material or any object which is made of a particular material, all the components are also made up of that material. So this is not having that particular flaw. So this could be your answer. Option C, each brick is rectangular, so therefore the wall should be rectangular. So this has the same flaw, because the brick can be rectangular, but the wall need not be rectangular. How you assemble the bricks will decide the shape of the wall. Just like how you assemble the particles to form the universe, it will define whether the universe is simple or complex. So the same way, just because the bricks are rectangular does not necessarily mean that the wall should be rectangular. The same thing, just because the parts of a car are perfect, when you assemble the parts, if you are not assembling in a perfect manner, the car need not be perfect. So the same mistake here. So this is not our answer, because it is following the same flawed reasoning. Option D, each piece of wood in this chair is sturdy, therefore this chair is sturdy. Sturdy means strong. So the wood is having the character of strength. But when you assemble the wood to form a chair, if you are not doing it in a perfect manner, the chair need not be strong. So we are again talking about the character of that particular particle which is making up the whole thing. If that character is, if the assembling or the composition or the components are not combined perfectly, this character need not be there for the entire thing. So this again is having the same flawed reasoning, so not your answer. Each sentence in this novel is well constructed, therefore the novel is well constructed. Again, the same thing. Just because the sentences are well constructed, when you combine the sentences, there is no guarantee that the novel will be well constructed because it all depends on how you combine the particles to form a whole thing. So that again the same flaw is there. So all the options except B is talking about the way or the method in which you combine the particles to form a whole thing. Whereas in this case, it is talking about the material which is used in the particles and the material that is used in the whole thing. So if a whole thing is made up of particles which are of some material, then the whole thing will be of that material. So this is not having that flaw. All others are having that particular mistake. So that is why option B will be your answer. All right, question number 4. It is talking about the exclusionary rule. What is this exclusionary rule? When a person who is accused of a crime is arrested by law enforcement people and they collect certain evidences from that person. If those evidences were collected in violation of the constitutional rights or fundamental rights of that person, or in some manner that is not correct, legally correct, then such evidences are not admissible in a court. As a result of which, the people will be acquitted or they will not be their crime cannot be proved. That is the exclusionary rule. And the passage argues that this exclusionary rule is sometimes taken advantage of by some criminals to escape the punishment. So they say that whenever this exclusionary rule is good in principle because it protects the constitutional rights or fundamental rights of the criminals. Criminals also have fundamental rights. So it is good in principle, but in practice, what is happening is that some minor technical mistakes committed by the law enforcement people while collecting the evidences, these are taken as instances or excuses by the criminals, and they say that the fundamental rights have been violated while collecting the evidences, and by using this loophole they try to escape or they are able to escape the punishment. So as a result of which, many people who are rapists or murderers, they are walking free, and when they walk free, what will happen? They will be again stealing and raping. So basically the passage is arguing that the exclusionary rule need to have some changes, because whenever law enforcement officials are acting in good faith or police officers are acting in good faith means they do not have any malicious intentions or they are not doing anything illegal. And when the only some technical or procedural violations are involved, means their fundamental rights of the criminals are not violated, only some minor errors or technical procedural violations are there, and when the police officers are acting in good faith, so in such cases, the exclusionary rule should not be applied, and the evidences should be accepted by the courts, and the punishment should be given. This is the uh, point made by the author. Now, what is the assumption of the author? So, what are the assumptions made by the author? And you have to find a statement that is an exception or something that is not an assumption made by the author by making this argument. Option A, the constitutional rights of criminal defendants should be protected. So, this is definitely an assumption made by the author. The author is not against the constitutional rights of criminal defendants because he says that if purpose is laudable, it means this is a good rule. The objective of the role is something that is to be appreciated. So that is why it is which forbids a court to consider evidence seized in violation of the defendant's constitutional rights. So this is something that is laudable. So defendant's constitutional rights have to be protected. So that is why this is something that the author is assuming that constitutional rights of criminal defendants should be protected. So since it's something that the author assumes to be correct, this is not your answer. Option B, most cases in which the exclusion rule has been invoked have involved purely technical violations or constitutional principles. What do you say about this? The passage is saying that there are cases in which the exclusionary rule is used when there were only procedural violations or technical violations. But most of the cases in which the exclusionary rule has been invoked is not stated in the passage. And so the passage is, or the author is not arguing that almost or majority of the cases in which the exclusionary rule has been used, it is misused. No, passage is not saying that. So this could be your answer because author is not assuming that the most of the cases in which the exclusionary rule is used is misused. He says that there have been cases where exclusionary rule is misused by the criminals to escape punishment. But most cases are not like that. He's not saying. So this could be an assumption that is not made by the author. Could be your answer. Option C. The number of cases whose outcome has been affected by the exclusionary rule is significant. So what do you say about this? The author says that it has unduly hampered law enforcement efforts. So this rule, even though it is good in principle, it is being used in an illegal manner or an unethical manner, as a result of which it has unduly or unnecessarily restricted the law enforcement efforts. And he is also saying that in consequence of the defendants misusing the rule, a lot of people are the defendants who were undoubtedly guilty, or people who were definitely guilty, they have escaped the punishment of law. So, what is the meaning here? So, he is arguing that there are cases in which the exclusion rule has affected the outcome, and it is significant. Means it is that is why he is making the argument. If the number of cases in which it is the rule has affected the outcome is not significant, he would not be making it. So that is why he says that it has unduly hampered the law enforcement efforts, and people who are guilty, undoubtedly guilty, they have been set free. And what they will do? They will again steal, rape, or murder again. So that is why he definitely feels that this rule has affected the outcome of many cases in which the people should have been punished, but they are not punished. So that he is definitely of the belief that this rule has affected the outcome of many important cases. So this is a good assumption made by the author. Since it is a good assumption, not our answer. Some of the defendants set free under the exclusion rule have been guilty of serious criminal offenses. Definitely true, because the last sentence will tell you that. So this is a clear assumption made by the author. Option E, merely technical violation of the rules concerning evidence should be treated differently from deliberate assaults upon human rights. Yes, that is why he says that in case of mere technical violations, this rule should not be invoked. There should be different treatment between human rights violation and merely technical violation. So criminals are also eligible for human rights. So whenever there are any violations of human rights by law enforcement people or police in collecting evidences, in such cases, exclusionary rule should be invoked, whereas in cases of technical violations, rule should not be invoked. That is why there should be a different treatment. So this is again an assumption made by the author. Since this is a good assumption made by the author, not your answer. So the assumption that is not made by the author is option B, because he is not saying that most of the cases or the majority of the cases in which this rule is invoked, it is invoked in an unnecessary manner. So he is not saying that. So that is why option B will be your answer. All right, go to the next question. Again, the same paragraph or the same topic, only the question is different. So here, what will the author likely to support in the among the following proposals? So even without reading that the options, you can clearly say what is the statement or proposition that the author is going to support. The author will definitely support some changes in the application of the exclusionary rule, where minor technical violations or when the police officers are acting in good faith, the rule cannot be invoked. The evidences should be admitted by the courts and criminals can be punished. This is the argument made by the author. So, what is a very clear answer? Change of the exclusionary rule to admit evidence obtained by police officers acting in good faith. Yes, when as far as police officers are acting in good faith, these rules should not be invoked. The evidences should be admitted. So, some changes have to be made in the existing system so that the evidences obtained by police officers who are acting in good faith means who have not done anything illegal or who have not done anything violating the human rights or constitutional rights of the defendants or criminals. So such evidences should be admitted by the courts so that the criminals can be punished. So this is a good answer that the author will definitely support this. Option B, a constitutional amendment curtailing some of the protections traditionally offered to those accused of curtailing means restricting. So he says that there should be an amendment to restrict some of the protections available. Means some of the constitutional protections available to the criminals should be removed. No, he's not saying that. He says that the constitutional violation of the defendant's constitutional rights is definitely not correct. So that is why exclusionary rule is laudable. So here he will not be supporting any constitutional amendment restricting the constitutional rights of the criminal. So this is not something he will be endorsing. Option C, a statute. Statute means a rule limiting the application of the exclusionary rule to cases involving minor criminal offenses. Means exclusionary rule can be invoked only in minor cases. In case of major cases, it cannot be invoked. Now, the passage or the author is not making any discrimination between minor cases or more major cases. He is only saying that only in cases of minor technical violations of the exclusionary rule, not about minor cases, minor technical violations of the exclusionary rule. So he's not differentiating between minor and major cases. So not an answer. Option D, change of the exclusionary rule to allow any evidence, no matter how obtained, to be introduced. No, the author will definitely not support. He says that as long as the evidence is obtained when the police officers are acting in good faith and there are no human rights violations, only minor or technical violations are involved. In such cases, the rule should not be applied. So, no matter how obtained means all evidences obtained in violation of the constitutional rights, they should be adopted. No, this is not something that the author will support. So this is not your answer. Option E, constitutional amendment allowing police officers to obtain vital evidence by any means necessary. Means police officers can do anything to obtain evidences. Again, it will not be supported. The author says that police officers, as long as they act in good faith, as long as they don't do anything illegal or unethical or against the laid down principles, then they should be accepted. So, any means necessary, definitely the author will not accept such kind of changes in the exclusionary rule. So, this again is not correct. So, very clearly, option A is the answer. Even without going through the options, you can easily find out that option A will be the answer. But since your question is about which will be the best option, you have to go through the options anyway and eliminate all other options to confirm that your correct answer is option A. So that's it. I hope the content and the techniques that we have discussed have all been useful to you. Please like, share, and subscribe to the video if you have found the channel to be useful, so that it will motivate me to come out with further videos. Thank you. Bye bye.